Jacob opened the rental car's hood and immediately saw the problem, a burst radiator hose. The girl stood awkwardly beside him, shielding her eyes from the Kansas sun. "How long will it take?" she asked, her voice a mix of worry and impatience. Jacob wiped sweat from his brow and said gently, "About an hour if I patch it." "You're lucky I had extra parts." She watched him work, noticing his rough hands and calm focus. Something about his steady presence softened her expression. Kansas was far from her world, but right now, she felt unexpectedly safe with this quiet farmer. As Jacob worked, he asked her name. "Emily," she replied, brushing loose hair from her face. He smiled softly. "Pretty name." Emily wasn't sure why, but the sincerity in his tone made her chest tighten. She admitted she wasn't from around here, she had flown from New York and rented a car. Jacob nodded, not prying. She'd already sensed he wasn't the type to judge. When he stood up to fetch tools from his truck, she looked at his farm, old, tired but full of heart. Something about it felt honest. Something she never felt at home. Emily walked closer to his farmhouse while he fixed the hose. The paint was chipped, the porch creaked, and the barn door leaned like it was tired of standing. Yet the place felt alive. Flowers grew in mismatched pots, and a tire swing hung from an oak tree. She smiled slightly, there was a beauty here she never saw in the city's perfect glass towers. Jacob joined her moments later. "It's not much, but it's home," he said quietly. She looked at him, surprised he could read her thoughts without her saying a word. When they returned to the car, Emily noticed Jacob's shoulders tense. He had seen the text notification on her phone screen by accident, her full name, Emily Sterling. He froze internally. He'd heard the name before. Sterling Industries owned miles of real estate across Manhattan, and her father was one of the most powerful men in America. But Jacob said nothing. Emily did notice, however, that something shifted in his eyes. She sighed softly. "So you recognized it, huh?" she whispered. Jacob nodded. "Doesn't change why I'm helping." For the first time, she believed someone meant it. Emily sat on the edge of the driver's seat while Jacob finished the repair. She confessed quietly, "I needed a break from everything, the expectations, the cameras, my father's plans for my life." Jacob listened without interrupting. He knew what pressure felt like, even if their lives were worlds apart. "Out here," he said, tightening the clamp, "the fields don't care who you are. They treat everyone the same. Weather doesn't listen to names." Emily let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. Maybe that's why she'd driven until Kansas, hoping somewhere would finally feel real. After finishing, Jacob stepped back and motioned for her to try starting the car. Emily turned the key, the engine coughed, then purred to life. Her face lit up with relief and gratitude. "Thank you," she said, softer than before. "Really?" Jacob waved it off humbly. "Wasn't much." But to her, it was more than a repair. It was the first moment of kindness she'd received in months without strings attached. She reached into her bag for money, but Jacob stepped back immediately. "No," he said firmly. "Keep it." Emily stared at him, stunned. No one ever told her to keep her money. "Still," Emily insisted. Jacob shook his head again. "You don't pay for help out here. That's not how neighbors work, even if you're just passing through." His voice carried a warmth she hadn't heard in years. Emily found herself smiling, a real smile, not the forced one she used for public appearances. She glanced at the road behind her and then at the quiet farm before her. "Do you mind," she asked, carefully, "if I stay a while? Just to breathe." Jacob hesitated, not because he didn't want her there, but because he wasn't used to anyone choosing to stay. Jacob offered her a cold lemonade inside his farmhouse. Emily sat at the wooden kitchen table, running her fingers along its worn surface. Everything here felt lived in, loved, imperfect in the best way. Jacob handed her the glass, watching her shoulders relax for the first time. She told him about her father's expectations, the business school, the arranged meetings, the suffocating social circles. Jacob shared quietly about losing his wife, raising the farm alone, and trying to keep the land his father built. Their worlds were different, but their loneliness was the same. Emily felt a strange warmth growing in her chest. As evening settled, the Kansas sky exploded with color, pink, orange, purple blending like a painting. Emily stood outside, mesmerized. In New York, sunsets hid behind skyscrapers. Here, the whole horizon reminded her how big the world really was. Jacob joined her on the porch, hands in his pockets. You picked a good day to get lost, he joked gently. Emily laughed, and Jacob realized he wanted to hear that laugh again. She looked at him and whispered, I haven't felt this free in years. Jacob didn't reply, but the softness in his eyes said everything she needed to hear. Eventually, she knew she had to leave. Her father would notice her absence, her phone was filled with missed calls and messages. But before driving off, Emily turned to Jacob. Thank you, for treating me like a person, not a headline. Jacob smiled shyly. Anytime. She hesitated, then added, I'll come back, if that's okay. Jacob's voice remained steady, but his heartbeat wasn't. Yeah, I'd like that. She drove away slowly, watching him shrink in the mirror until his silhouette blurred with the golden fields. For the first time in a long time, Emily didn't feel alone, and neither did he. Emily returned to her world of luxury and pressure, but something inside her had changed. Her father demanded explanations, but she stayed quiet, protecting the one place she felt peace. Days passed, then a week. She couldn't stop thinking about the farmhouse, the fields, the sunsets, and Jacob's steady eyes. One evening, she packed a small bag and told her father she needed space. Without waiting for permission, she flew back to Kansas. Jacob was fixing a fence when he saw her rental car approaching again. He wiped his hands, heart racing though he hid it well. Emily stepped out, her smile brighter and surer than before. Told you I'd come back, she said softly. Jacob didn't trust himself to speak at first. She handed him a small envelope. This is not money, she explained quickly. Inside was a job offer. Sterling Industries wanted a mechanic supervisor for their new Midwest division, with a salary that could save Jacob's farm. Jacob stared at her, stunned. Why me? He whispered. Emily swallowed. Because you're honest. You're skilled. And because, I want you in my life, not just my memory. For once, Jacob was the speechless one. Jacob didn't answer immediately. He walked a few steps away, breathing in the scent of the Kansas fields that had shaped him. Then he turned back to her. I'll take the job, he said slowly, if you promise something. Emily looked up, hopeful. Anything. Jacob smiled warmly. That you'll keep coming back. Not as Emily Sterling, just as Emily. Her eyes filled with emotion. Always. For the first time, their worlds didn't feel so far apart. Jacob extended his hand. Emily took it without hesitation. And in the middle of quiet Kansas, two very different lives finally began to feel complete. Jacob stood there, stunned, as Emily's confession hung in the warm Kansas air. The daughter of a New York tycoon, standing in his dusty yard. He looked at her differently now, not with awe, but with understanding. Her eyes were full of exhaustion, the kind he knew too well. She wrapped her arms around herself as if she were cold. I just needed somewhere the world can't see me, she whispered. Jacob didn't say anything at first. He simply nodded toward the porch. Come on, he said softly. You look like you need a real break. And maybe some lemonade. Emily followed him into the old farmhouse, her steps soft, careful. She looked around, noticing the patched walls, the weathered table, the photos of a younger Jacob with a smiling woman, his late wife, she guessed. It wasn't a mansion or a penthouse, yet the house felt alive with memories. Emily sat while Jacob poured lemonade into mismatched glasses. She noticed his hands were steady, gentle, despite the rough calluses. I'm sorry if this is strange, she whispered. Jacob shook his head. Strange isn't always bad. She smiled a little, feeling something she hadn't felt in months, relief. Jacob sat across from her, taking in her nervous posture. Why'd you run? He asked quietly. Emily looked down at her drink, twisting the glass between her fingers. Because I couldn't breathe anymore, she said. My father plans everything. My school, my job, my future, even who I should date. Jacob's brows furrowed. And you don't get a say. Emily laughed softly. Not when the entire city watches your every move. Jacob leaned back in his chair. Well, no one watches you here. Just the cows. And they're terrible gossipers. Emily snorted into her drink, truly laughing for the first time. Emily wiped her eyes as the laughter faded. I don't understand, she whispered. Why are you being so kind to me? Jacob shrugged. Because someone should be. She stared at him. In New York, everyone had motives. Everyone wanted a piece of her father's influence. Yet here was a man who didn't want anything except to offer peace. She took a breath and said softly, "Thank you, Jacob. You don't know how much this means to me." He nodded, not trusting his voice, but the warm look in his eyes told her he understood more than words could say. They walked outside, toward the barn. Emily hesitated before stepping inside, but Jacob pushed the door open for her. Sunlight poured through the cracks, illuminating old farm equipment and bales of hay stacked against the walls. "I'm rebuilding it," Jacob said. Slowly. "Money's tight, but it keeps me going." Emily touched a rusted tool gently. "You do all this alone?" He nodded. "Mostly." She turned to him, feeling a sudden heaviness. "You carry more than you show," she whispered. Jacob met her eyes, unexpectedly soft, unexpectedly vulnerable. "So do you," he replied quietly. The truth of it settled between them. They walked the fields afterward, quiet except for the wind brushing through tall grass. Emily breathed deeply. "It feels like the world is bigger here," she murmured. Jacob smiled faintly. "It is. Out in New York, everything is tall and crowded. Here, you've got space. Space to think. Space to stop thinking." Emily turned toward him. "Do you ever get tired of being alone out here?" Jacob took a moment before answering. "Sometimes. But loneliness feels different on land like this. It's quieter. Easier to live with." Emily nodded. "New York loneliness feels loud." Jacob understood perfectly without her explaining. As they reached the far fence, Emily stumbled slightly on a loose rock. Jacob caught her arm gently, steadying her. Their eyes met, too long, too close. Emily pulled back with a shy smile, cheeks warming. Jacob cleared his throat. "You okay?" She nodded. "Better than I've been in months." They walked back slowly, neither wanting the moment to end. Emily kept glancing at the farmhouse, imagining what it must be like to wake up here. No cameras, no pressure, just wide skies and quiet mornings. For the first time, she wondered what life could look like if she chose differently. Back at the house, Emily leaned against her car, making no move to leave. "My father, he's going to be furious when he finds out where I went." Jacob crossed his arms. "Do you want to go back?" She froze, thinking hard. "I don't know," she admitted. "I feel like I'm living someone else's life." Jacob nodded slowly. "Then maybe it's time you live your own." She looked up, eyes full of emotions she couldn't name. "It's not that simple." Jacob stepped a little closer. "Most simple things aren't easy. Doesn't make them wrong." Emily swallowed, trying to steady her voice. Her phone buzzed again, another call, another demand, another reminder of the world she ran from. She silenced it, breathing heavily. "I don't want to go back yet," she whispered. Jacob nodded. "You don't have to." Emily blinked at him. "Really?" Jacob shrugged. "I've got plenty of chores if you want distraction." "Ever fed chickens?" Emily laughed. "Absolutely not." Jacob smirked. "Well, today might be your first." He guided her toward the coop, showing her how to hold the feed. Emily squealed when the chickens ran toward her, and Jacob laughed, really laughed, for the first time in a long time. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky gold, Emily helped Jacob carry tools back to the barn. She wasn't graceful, dropping a wrench, tripping over a hose, but Jacob found himself enjoying her presence more with every passing moment. Emily looked up at him. "Jacob, do you ever imagine a different life?" He paused, thinking. "Sometimes. But mostly I just hope for good days. Days that feel right." Emily stepped closer. Today felt right. Jacob's heart tightened in his chest. "Yeah," he said quietly. It did. They stood there, golden light softening the world around them, neither wanting to move. Eventually, Emily sighed. "I guess, I should go." But her voice held reluctance. Jacob nodded, though his expression dimmed. "You'll be okay on the road. The car should hold." Emily bit her lip. "Will you be here if I come back?" Jacob's answer was immediate, steady. "I'll be here." She smiled, a small but certain smile. "Good. Because I think I want to come back." Jacob's chest warmed. "Then you know where to find me." She got into the car, paused, then rolled the window down. "Jacob." He looked at her. "Thank you for giving me a place to breathe." Emily drove off slowly, dust rising behind her. Jacob watched until her car disappeared completely. For a long moment, he stood in the quiet, heart beating with something unfamiliar, hope. Real, tangible hope. The kind he hadn't felt since before his wife passed. The kind he thought he'd lost forever. When he finally returned inside, the house didn't feel as empty as before. Her laughter still echoed in the rooms. Her presence lingered like warmth. And Jacob knew, somehow, some way, she would return. And when she did, everything in both their lives would begin to change in ways neither expected. 2 days later, Jacob was repairing a tractor when he heard a car pull up. He looked up, surprised but not shocked. Emily stepped out, not rushed, not panicked, but sure. She walked toward him with a softness in her expression he hadn't seen before. "I'm back," she said simply. Jacob smiled. "I figured you might be." Emily took a deep breath. "I talked to my father. I told him I need space. Not permission, space." Jacob raised his brows. "How'd he take it?" Emily smiled wryly. "Like a man who's used to controlling everything. But I didn't back down." She stepped even closer. "Jacob, I don't know what this is yet. But I know I want to be here. Not as Emily Sterling, the heiress. Just as Emily." Jacob felt something shift inside him, something warm and steady. "Then you're welcome here," he said. She reached for his hand, hesitant, hopeful. Jacob took it gently, his rough fingers closing over hers. For the first time in years, both of them felt seen. Not for wealth, not for burdens, not for scars. Just seen. And in that quiet Kansas evening, with fields stretching endlessly around them, something new began.